Well, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, whatever it happens to be for you. This is Mark of Omega Comics and Games, and I'm here to bring you another unboxing. Can't start the morning off without a little bit of coffee, so let's get to it. Alright, so this particular unboxing is 144 days in the making. I submitted this selection of books back on July 21st, and they just arrived a couple of days ago on February the 1st. So 144 business days turnaround time. These are all going to be modern books. There's going to be 9 of them. And there's only 2 different books in this unboxing. Now, 4 of these books I actually purchased back in 1990, right off the shelf. So I've had them in my collection for a really, really long time. And in fact, I bagged and boarded them and just kept switching them out over the years. And I just figured that this particular character has a pending appearance in the MCU, and no time like the present. So I figured I would send them in. Now, back in July, their expected turnaround time was 105 days. Obviously, that got extended quite a bit. And I think a lot of that had to do with, at the time, there was so many people submitting books because the comic book market was super hot. So the other set of books, I actually picked up. There's 5 of them. All first issues. In fact, all 9 of these books are first issues. These ones I picked up in a very, very large collection I purchased about 6 years ago, which was a collection of 85 long boxes. So just transporting all those books took 2 days in my truck. So as you can see here, we have this really nice fragile box. And you'll notice, again, the security tape on these boxes, which is UPS. So if you ship your comic books back to you, if you select that option, it's a little bit more expensive, but it has a different type of security protocol, which I touched upon in my last video, which drops this Friday, which is going to be all TMNT books. So catch that video, premieres in a couple of days. Alright, so as always, I like to open the boxes from the bottom. Now, with this particular box, I can hear something moving around, so I hope it's the annoying advertisements that they put inside, because I would hate to think that I have a cracked case in here. So, we're going to go ahead and open this up. Again, we're going to open it from the bottom. Hope to avoid seeing any of the grades. Now, I've been submitting books for over 20 years to CGC. Normally, when the company first started, I had to go through a third party. So the first couple of books I ever submitted were submitted through A1 Comics here in Sacramento. Okay, so I want to make sure that yep, okay, so we got an advertisement for Heritage. Don't care. Kind of bothers me that they actually do that. Packing invoice. What's this? We've got something for accessories that I don't need or want. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pull out the first book. I believe these are the books from 1990. And they are. Okay, so this is Namor the Submariner #1. There are 4 copies of this book in the box. None of these were pressed by CCS. 9.4. Alright. So this book is from 1990. Obviously, this is an extremely old book now, since we're looking at, what, 32 years? So, I was 21 when these books came out. I was not a huge fan of Namor the Submariner. I was a huge fan of John Byrne, which is why I picked this book up. It wasn't until later, when I started collecting my Silver Age run of the Submariner, that I became a pretty big fan. Okay, so we have another copy of issue #1. And we have a 9.6. So, no 9.8s, but we did score ourselves a 9.6. All of these books will be going up for sale on my eBay store. I'm hoping to get at least one 9.8 out of this series. Now, granted, you know, the fact that these books are 32 years old, I'm not incredibly surprised that they came back like the grades that they're at. Another 9.6. Alright, so I do know that there's only 4 copies, so let's see if we get a 9.8 from the last one. And again, at the time that I submitted these, I didn't have a pressing machine. I do now. So my process for submitting has changed greatly, and that I will not be submitting anything that isn't pressed personally by me. All right. Last copy of Namor the Submariner. Let's hope we get at least one 9.8. All of these books look fantastic. Okay, we have a singular 9.8. So one 9.4, two 9.6s, and a 9.8. So I think a 9.8 right now has a fair market value of somewhere around $200. But Namor the Submariner is coming to the MCU, so we can expect the price on these books to spike. All right, now the next series of books that I'm going to bring out are from 2013, and they are all the same. There's 5 copies of this book. Now, as I had mentioned when the video started, I purchased all of these in a collection of 85 long boxes, and they are the 2013 edition of Young Avengers. Okay, we have a 9.8, which on these books, they should all have white pages. They should be somewhere between 9.4 and 9.8. Of course, we want 9.8s, especially if you're going to be selling these. Now, I do have copies of the original Young Avengers series from 2003. I think they're 2003, 2005, somewhere in there. But I haven't gotten around to pressing and submitting those ones yet. I did originally at one point have them set up to be submitted and pressed through CCS, but wisely I did not send them in. Okay, we have another 9.8. Fantastic, because these books right now are going, I want to say they're in the same area, the $200 to $300 range for a 9.8. Alright, so we have another one. We have another 9.8. This is fantastic. As I've been selling more and more of my graded books online, I've grown less and less attached to modern books, and primarily I'm collecting Silver and Bronze Age keys. I am, however, attempting to get 1 through 300 of my X-Men run completed, and then collecting Silver Age, Journey into Mystery, Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, and Daredevil, which I have a lot of those major keys already, so I'm pretty lucky. Alright, so this is going to be our 4th copy, and our 4th copy comes out at a 9.8, so this is really stellar. Like, I wasn't sure about the Namor the Submariner all coming back 9.8s. I kind of figured I might get 2, and the other ones would be between a 9.4 and a 9.6, so expectations on those have been met. Alright, last copy of the Young Avengers, number 1. And what did we get? We got a 9.6. Okay, so we have 1 at 9.6, and we have 4 at 9.8. Now, obviously, if this book were to spike up, a 9.6 might be worth cracking, pressing, and then resubmitting if it has pressable defects, which there's no way to tell for sure. I do know that with a black cover like this, it's easy to have some type of a spine tick or a crease that would show, but the difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8 can be so subtle that it could be something like a finger bend at the very bottom. There's a tiny little finger bend at the bottom. So that's something that could easily have been overlooked by me. I do have more copies of this book, but these were the best 5 I had in the run. And I do have more copies of Namor the Submariner, but these were the best 5 in the run. Alright, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this unboxing today. I know it was a little bit boring, only because it was repetitive. But, as I always say, collect what you love, read what you love, because life is way too short for any of us to waste the time that we have. Like, comment, subscribe down below if you want to. If you got a question you want to ask, put that in the comments section below. I will try and answer every single one that I can. The channel is growing, which has really surprised me a lot. We've gone from having around 20 subscribers to, I think this morning when I checked, I had 63. Not a huge number, but it means a lot to me. All of my subscribers having you mean a lot to me. So thank you so much for taking the time out to join me on this little journey of unboxing. Okay, so this is Mark, Omega Comics and Games. Comics, coffee. Thank you so much. Have a great week.